We want to go now to the chief advisor for the U.S. vaccine effort. That's Operation Warp Speed. Dr. Moncef Slaoui joins us from Miami. Good morning to you, doctor.
Good morning, Margaret.
Have U.S. officials gotten any insight into how this more contagious version of the virus that's detected in the U.K. and South Africa, what the impact is? We know it's from the U.K., at least, that version is in at least 3 U.S. states.
Yes, so that's the information we have. This virus actually mutates as part of its normal behavior, and therefore it is normal to expect that there will be variants. What's very important is to study those variants and understand how infectious they are, whether they have more impact in terms of morbidity or mortality, and critically now, whether they are still sensitive to the vaccines that have been developed. And on those 3 counts, based on the information shared with us by the UK scientists and early data that we have here, we think that these virus variants should be under control with this vaccine. Fortunately, they are not more deadly to the population. They are more infectious, and therefore they will further exacerbate the surge that we are having.
Well, there are reports, though, in the UK that more children are becoming ill. From the models you've seen, what does this new virus strain do to children?
Well, its capacity to spread is higher. Frankly, I'm not very clear about the data showing a differential in accelerated spread between adults and children, but the fact of the matter is it will spread faster into the population. I think it should be a signal again to say what we need to do as a population is wear masks, distance ourselves, wash our hands, be very aware of people around us, and continue to be very careful around the transmission. This will continue to happen. The key to the solution is vaccination.
Well, let's get to that solution then, because it is the fastest vaccine development in Western history. Congratulations to you as overseeing that part of it. Now we're at the really complicated part of actually getting it to Americans. The president twice this week has blamed the states for failing to distribute it. If they're not up to the task, what are you doing at Operation Warp Speed to help them?
Well, first, as you said, I think let me acknowledge the progress that's been made, which has been remarkable, and it's the work of tens of thousands or probably hundreds of thousands of people to have been able to have 5 vaccines in phase 3 trials, 2 approved, probably 1 more to be approved in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And 20 million doses of vaccines, as we had promised, would be made available to the American people to be immunized with, have been made available. 17.5 million have been shipped.
Right, but only a third of them have actually been used. So that's where the rubber meets the road.
We need to improve. Exactly.
So what are you doing in the states to help them?
So we have visited actually the states, and I know you have the governor from Arkansas with you later on today. We, General Perna and myself, have visited the Department of Health in Arkansas. We have explained the process. This was on October 26. Arkansas has actually ordered from the Central Reserve about 150,000 doses of the vaccine. 120-some thousands have been delivered to the actual locations that they have told us. Therefore, our assumption has been that there is a plan in place to immunize. We stand by here to help any specific request. We will do the best we can, as we have done over the last 8 months, to make these vaccines indeed make it into the arms of people. But we need to have a specific ask, and maybe there will be one later on today.
Well, we will ask him about that,
specific requests.
But sir, I know you know what these numbers are right now. We are at a peak level of infection. So figuring out the bureaucracy seems to be, frustrating for people here because they want it now. So what about jump-starting the plan you have in place? You know, CVS and Walgreens say they are expecting to get the vaccine in the spring to distribute to the population at large. Why not give it to them now? If the states are having a problem, go to the private sector.
Well, as you know, we have agreement with CVS and Walgreens, and we are starting to ship vaccines to those locations as allocated by the states. That's really the key point.
Right, but that's the problem, isn't it?
Taken.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why can't you
I don't think it's a problem, frankly. Actually, well, we are here to help. Let me just, for instance, say, over the last 72 hours, 1.5 million vaccine doses have been inoculated. Even though there is a gap in reporting, that's quite an important number. That's 500,000 a day. We are optimistic as we go beyond this holiday season that the numbers will go up. And we are standing ready to do what we're asked. Where there is help to be given, we're standing by to help. I don't think we are able to identify exactly which long-term care facility or which CVS store should be getting more vaccine or less vaccine. That has to be done with people that have granular knowledge of their population, their movements, where the older people are, or the various groups at risk, and then we'll be there with them.
Okay, so you're saying that still has to be up to the states to figure out where they have the need. But let's talk about the portion you can control, and that is the federal supply. If the goal is preservation of life, how can you still justify holding back more than half of the manufactured doses that you have? We just heard from the UK that they're just trying to hit as many people at once. Why not do something like that and space out the time between doses?
Yes. So a scientific answer and then an alternative. I think it's not reasonable when vaccines have been developed with 2 doses given 21 days apart or 28 days given apart, and where we have the data on their safety and their efficacy. And we have after 2 doses, we have no data after 1 dose if we leave people a month, 2 months, 3 months with maybe incomplete immunity, waning immunity, maybe even the wrong kind of immune response induced that is then corrected by the second dose.
But they've got 0 immunity right now.
Well, it is, I'm going to tell you the alternative in 1 second. Just let me finish the point I'm making, which is we always said that these vaccines will be developed on the basis of science and all decisions will be made transparently on the basis of data. Changing the decisions made, the choices made, which was to give 2 doses of vaccine. The second dose gives you 10 times higher immune response than the first dose. Without any data, I think would not be responsible. Here is the alternative. We know that for the Moderna vaccine, giving half the dose to people between the age of 18 and 55, 2 doses, half the dose, which means exactly achieving the objective of immunizing double the number of people with the doses we have. We know it induces identical immune response to the 100 microgram dose. And therefore, we are in discussion with Moderna and with the FDA. Of course, ultimately, it will be an FDA decision to accelerate injecting half the volume. I think that's a more responsible approach that will be based on facts and data to immunize more people. And of course, we continue to produce more vaccine doses.
Yeah, and quickly, do you have a date for when you will know whether, once you've been vaccinated, you can still give the virus to others? Is there any timeline?
So those studies, frankly, are going to be based on observational data into the population. I don't think we will have data before late in the spring.
Okay.
But I can't give you an exact date.
Dr. Slaoui, thank you for your time this morning.